Captain Richard Smith, Commandant of Cadets and Captain Training Ship Empire State.
I'm going to hear from Captain Smith. I'm putting at the lower campus, but John's in there somewhere. We'll find him.
Well, again, we extend our welcome to all of you out there in the audience. And as Admiral Carpenter said, it's a very, very different day than it was 14 days ago. Before I pass along any remarks, what we're going to do now is have the cadets take the Maritime College oath. The oath represents their acceptance into the regiment, and it also recommends their successful completion of the indoctrination period. Excuse me, I will turn my back to you all as well while we do the oath. Cadet Mirando, please have the cadets raise their right hand and recite the Maritime College oath. Let's please give a warm round of applause to our newest class 2017. Indoctrination, that period of time that seems like a long period for the people behind me and probably a very short period for those in front of me. But indoctrination represents or is a time to teach people to accept a system of thought. Now, that doesn't mean we're trying to brainwash. What that means is that we're trying to have folks adjust to a way that is felt and has traditionally been accepted and proven to be a solid, found way for students to be successful. For students to enhance and adopt structure to live up to their fullest potential. Indoctrination started this year 2 days after the Empire State returned from a 98-day voyage. And just like life is about a cycle, things at Maritime assume that cycle in very, very obvious and sometimes obscure ways. When I look in front of me and see our newest Reg Commander, Cadet Tyler Rizzoli, and a young man that I can remember from year one in my navigation class, when I see the growth that these two individuals have had over their time here, and likewise when I can remember standing watch with them on the Empire State when they were cadet watch officers, that very senior cruise that we finished but 2 days before 337 students came onto campus, starting campus, marks the culmination of their years of training, marks their adoption of a new way of thought, a new way to assume responsibility, and yet at the same time, it welcomes people in for the next cycle. I would say over the years I've had the chance to participate, to organize, to run many, many indoctrination programs. As a cadet here, many, many years ago, and as an indoctrination officer myself, you've seen methods change, and at the end of the day you have to analyze, were the results successful? were the objectives achieved. Indoctrination has many objectives, but as the word means, the overall objective is to adjust folks or to train people to assume and adapt a new way of thought. Our indoctrination period was very structured, and it included 6 full days on board the Empire State. 6 days where every student, every cadet went through training in a hands-on methodology, structured and organized and run by people who had been on their first cruise weeks before, and people that have done 1 year and possibly a second cruise away from the college or on board the Empire State. The growth that was seen in that 6 days was seen not only in our newest cadets, but almost more importantly, in our new leadership. One of the gauges in my eyes of success of the program is how capable those that have been thrown into the position of running the program end up finishing out. Cadet Miranda, his staff, the squad leaders, they all demonstrated by far, in my time here, the greatest propensity of growth and the most effective job in indoctrinating this newest class. This year, we adopted different methods. This year, we tried to selectively place each and every one of the squad leaders and IDOs into a position of training that would force them to learn and show us that they could teach. We didn't just keep those folks with their section of 58 or 62 students. We had each one of these young men and women, the leadership, go through each and every student as they did their 6 days of training. The success shown by that method, by far, paralleled nothing I've seen in my 12 years. And it gave all of the staff a chance to see how well each and every one of these young people prepared and how much care and concern they had in the training of the newest class. Indoctrination also is about adjusting people to a schedule, a structure. Indoctrination is getting up early, doing PT in the morning, learning that a healthy body leads to a healthy mind, going to class, studying for a test that they took yesterday on things learned, and most importantly, demonstrating teamwork, the ability to work with the others in section without having the choice of who is on that team. If you were to ask each and every IDO and squad leader, if you were, when you get home, to ask each and every one of your sons or daughters or friends or grandchildren what single thing of the indoc period they remember most, I think a good number will say what we call the leadership challenge. A challenge that was held on Tuesday morning where each of the sections went through 6 activities, some demonstrating knowledge, some demonstrating the ability to think critically, some demonstrating athletic ability, and most demonstrating teamwork. Captain Hanft and the regimental staff and myself got to go around to each of the sections to watch and see how they were doing. And I know in the past 14 days and looking at this period, the thing I won't forget is when Captain Hanft and I were underneath the bridge observing the obstacle course. And we saw a given section on that course. And some of the people in this section were truly motivated. Some of the people definitely had been getting into a program of physical fitness and needed a little bit of help and coaching along the way. But when the whole section knew that time mattered and results counted, those in the section that finished first rallied behind those in the section that couldn't finish or needed encouragement to finish. The motivation of these people, these young people, without being forced, that they had picked up to get their teammates across and over a pretty high obstacle is something I'll never forget. Captain Hanft that very morning, on her way up to the mess deck, passed one of the students that had a little trouble. In fact, one of the students that was thinking of leaving the program day 3. And Captain Hanft later told me that morning that this young man was beaming, smiling ear to ear, because he knew now the value of teamwork. He knew now that he had in his place 52 section mates that were with him forever. Another thing I remember about that morning was in the pool. And our chief squad leader and the staff put together a challenge there that may have seemed simple, but yet it involved thinking. And that challenge was moving three 45-pound plates that were at the deep end of the pool across to the shallow end, and repeating that as many times possible within an 8-minute period. The only rule was that that weight could not lift, or those weights could not leave the water, could not break the surface. When the chief squad leader explained the rules, and ever so simply, and he was asked questions, well, can we do this? Can we do that? He simply said, the only rule is the plate cannot leave the surface of the water. It was fascinating to watch, and most sections after about 3 or 4 minutes figured out that rather than send their 3 biggest students down to the pool to try to move that weight, defying the laws of gravity, defying the laws of resistance, one section notably had an individual in the section say, everyone pull out your lug lines, a piece of line that they carry with them. They put the lines together, they tied the line through the weight, and stayed on the side of the pool and just moved the weight by line, not defying the rules. That section not only demonstrated the ability to think outside of the box, but they also, by far, exceeded the number of reps they did on that particular evolution. Indoc is a big change. It's an adjustment. It's a period where 338 students have found that they now have a place here at the college. They now have section mates, teammates, and a very strong support network, replacing that network that you all provided at home. I think these students learned that things in life that are truly things of success and challenge don't come easily, but rather they have to be worked for. I think most importantly, they learned that when we all have good and bad days, they have a team behind them to get them up on that low day and to help them out, or for them to help others out on their high days. So yes, indoctrination and the class behind us, 326 strong, has learned a lot of great lessons and has very successfully completed the program. But as Admiral Carpenter said so wisely, this program is just the start of their future. And in the 4 years or years ahead, there'll be many, many harder challenges and many opportunities that they are going to have to learn to challenge themselves, much the same way that we've been fortunate to see themselves challenge themselves now. It's pretty ironic, but 2 years ago, a very close friend of mine had his son start Maritime College. This is a young man, back then a young man, who rode with me for 4 years. And today, ironically, there's 2 other parents in the audience who also I rode with, whose children are starting out, or sons are starting out now. And when Carl Lawton, a close friend today, sent me an email after Indoc 2 years ago, he sent something that I think summarizes a lot of why we do what we do. And I'd like to, for a minute, just read that to you. And it's from a great book called The Way of the Ship by Derek Lundy. And in the book, Lundy quotes Conrad when he was talking about life aboard a ship, and really paralleling it to life in general. And Conrad stated, and I quote, "He was comforted by the order and hierarchy of the ship, a place for everything and everything in its place. Everyone too, from the captain to the mate to the least seaman. Every line on its pin, the routine of the watches, the same orders for each action, every time, every day, every voyage. Duty, faithfulness, fidelity, fellowship in the craft, and mystery of the sea. Like the soldier, the seaman values the strict rules of brotherhood because of their profound utility. They will keep him alive when his job is at the most daunting and chaotic." Unquote. One thing now I'd like to leave you with, and oftentimes things that they do up here as part of the passing review, you in the audience probably don't understand the significance. But just to show you one thing and to end on one note, I'd ask Cadet Mirando right now. Cadet Mirando, please have the class of 2017 come to attention. Class of 2017. Now listen carefully. Class of 2017, 1874. 1874 is a very proud, a very historic date in the school's founding. It was in 1874 that the Maritime College, back then known as the New York Nautical School, was basically authorized by a bill passed by the New York City Board of Education and the New York City Legislature. In 1874 also, the St. Mary's, the first training ship of the college, was approved and authorized to be used as the first nautical school ship. In 1875, the 1st Cadet Corps moved on board that ship, and in 1876, our first class of 58 cadets graduated proudly from the New York Nautical College. We started with 338 students, representing 5 countries, 12 states. In that class, there were 31 females, 7 grad licensed students, and 5 prior service. And although right now there's 326 here, 5 of those students had to defer due to medical reasons, and they'll be back with us in January. As I told Admiral Carpenter, I'm very proud of the job that the staff has done, and it is a team effort of all the staff. But from that class, that first class of 58 cadets, to the 326 very proud students behind us, I think the Maritime College is in a very good stead. Thank you very much.